we just restarted it. Yeah, we just started it. Yeah, I think it's working now. Yeah. Is it? There we go. Okay, so it looks like we're trying to get up our technical difficulties, but let's go ahead and get into the show. We off tracking. So this first part of the show, you guys, as you know, so we like to start off on a positive note. So we would like to start off with positivity. Basically, it's whatever. And for me, it's whatever I'm experiencing that week. I tend to try to find some different affirmations and things of that nature. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so she said she just commented that it ended. Try now. You want to start off with your quote?
Well, I thought you were gonna.
Just so I can. You can go ahead first.
Okay. Well, saying something. So
what was I saying?
You were saying you start off with things for you know that actually speak to you from your day. So try YouTube again, guys, if you don't mind, please and thank you. Wherever you are, you probably just have to. You're just a click away. So if you would click the link in the bio of the place that you're at, just so we know, not just so we know, because that's what we want you to be at anyway. Yeah. But check it out. So because that's where we should be able to see your comments.
Try again.
Yes. Try again. Try again.
Okay. So, like I said, then, yep, you're right. That's what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I like to talk about, my quotes typically go to what I'm going through this week or whatever the case may be. And I try to just find different affirmations to keep me going, keep me, push through whatever, push through. So for me, I've definitely had some type of I did have quite of a difficult week this week. So, I'm definitely trying to push through and just, prosper and continue to be innovative and continue to just strive to be the best person that I can be. And my quote was just quite simple for me. No weapon against you shall prosper. And it was just that simple. Like I just kept having to tell myself that again, because I'm telling you, it's coming in different forms to try to take you out. And you have to be able to recognize that, identify that, and overcome that. So for me, it was no weapon against you will prosper. So look at anything that's trying to come up against you, whether it's work, whether it's relationship, whether it's friendship, whether it's family, whatever it is, know that that's just something that you can control. If you no matter recognizing it, but once you recognize it, learn how to control it and know that, okay, you know what? Nah, you're not going to get this one because I'm going to still be okay. So that was kind of it for me. It's just like no weapon against me is going to prosper. And I'm going to just do anything trying to show itself to be negative in my life.
Absolutely.
So that was it for me.
That was a good one. And I guess, we all take things from our week and things that you just feel strongly about, or messages that continue to come to you throughout, whatever your week or whatever. And one thing that has been like ringing really strongly with me, I was at an event the other day, and the event was actually a fashion event, but they mixed it with mental health thoughts controls our universe. And it brings you back to perception. Now, your perception is different from reality. You know what I mean? There's a perception of a situation, and then there's a reality behind the situation. And those are two different things. But if you're controlling thoughts that create your perception of situations, a lot of times you're controlling your the way that you perceive the situation, the way that you're giving into the situation. So you can't control reality. Reality is reality. It is a tangible thing, but you can control your perception. You can, for instance, if Eb Deceleb is saying no weapon formed against me shall prosper, You also want to check your reality and your perception, saying, is there a weapon being formed against me? Because that's the perception portion of that event. Like, for instance, if you're at work and your boss is coming and you're like, my boss hates me. My boss hates me because every day this person has something to say. Now, is the reality portion of that is that every day your boss has come to you and said something or griped or complained about something. That probably is true. But is your boss against you, or is your boss trying to, make something, actually fix a situation, or whatever the case may be? Because when you perceive something to be against you, every time you turn around, every drop in the bucket, you will actually put that into the perception bucket that says something is against me. This is against me. So even things that we're looking at that may or may not even be a weapon, that weapon is not forming against you, actually forming that weapon in your mind. So you do whatever you need to do to combat those things, but perception is, a lot of times not necessarily a reflection of the actual situation. Perception is a reflection of you, and how you think and how you feel about a situation. That's perception. And then reality is a whole nother thing. So she who controls her thoughts controls her entire universe. That comes down to mental health, being aware of yourself, staying woke, all of that stuff. So that was it for me, guys.
But I definitely think sometimes, though, you have to be your perception, because you said something about as far as your perception. I definitely think there's some tokens where you have to be, because I'm and I'll just be honest, just being as transparent as possible. I personally sometimes I deal with certain things a lot differently than a lot of different people. I'm one of those people, I can foresee things, and so it's like, is that mistaken for perception, or are you actually saying this is probably to happen? Let me try to be 2 steps ahead of it before it tries to take me out, will form themselves against me. So, I guess it all depends on what people's definition on perception of what is happening. It could be the reality of what is happening, because a lot of people, what they do is they don't go with their intuition. They're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm just looking at it the wrong way. But it could be just that.
The only thing I say about that is, because I think that's very true in a lot of respects, but I also think I'm a very strong believer in self-fulfilling prophecies. So sometimes when you are trying to be 2 steps forward and formed against you, or you perceive to be away, and you're like, okay, I just don't feel right about it. I have a lot of intuition, and my intuition says that this is off. A lot of times you walk yourself right into the situation that you thought you told yourself in your head, I see this coming, and then you actually start to take steps that actually bring that to fruition. So that's the only danger behind that. When you're trying to head off something that you believe is going to happen, and you take certain steps to make, to like head it off and try to make sure that it doesn't happen. A lot of times you actually set into motion the exact thing that you thought was going to happen. And then when it happens, you go, oh yeah, I told you so. When in all actuality, it was your steps within that realm that actually made that happen. It was happen. The same thing, like if you say, you know what, I need to take these heels off because I'm probably going to fall on my face. Well, then you start thinking so much about how your every step, and now you're trying to be extra careful while you're walking, and that very thing makes you wobble, and your ankle is unsturdy now because you're thinking so hard about walking, and then you fall, and it's like, yeah, I knew I should have took those heels off because I knew I was going to fall. But in all actuality, upright. So those are the kind of things, that's what I mean when I say self-fulfilling prophecy. And a lot of times those things happen. They happen in relationships. Think about a relationship when you say you think your
that's
person.
Exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah, when you think somebody's cheating on you, or you think
so intuition and perception are definitely 2 different things.
Absolutely.
Your intuition can tell you, like, or perception or whatever. Like when I did catch, my ex cheating on me, I already knew. Mm-hmm. I already knew what was happening. I already saw it coming. And it wasn't that I was talking myself into it. I was aware and staying ahead of the game so that you wouldn't be able to, like, oh, okay, try
sometimes when it comes to like relationships, sometimes women, you know, that sometimes I feel like that's not even an intuition situation, because when we have intuitions about relationships, we already knew. 9 times out of 10, you knew before you even got with that person and really sat with that person was probably a freaking cheater. Like, excuse me, there are things that there are ways that people move that you like, you know what? I don't know if you're the most trustworthy person. Maybe they, you know, talk too slick out the mouth, or maybe this, and this. And you knew from that this person probably needs a side eye, or, you know, something, you give you a side eye or something like that. But by the time a woman knows that something is going on, when she's already using her womanly intuition, there were already signs around you saying that this was going to happen, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? That's your intuition. Perception of the situation, you could actually go either way with that. Your perception could say, oh, no, they're not doing it, because you chose to believe that they were not doing it. Or you say, oh, yeah, they are. I mean, me personally, I've been on the receiving end of someone's intuition that I was cheating. And I've never been a cheater. So what that person ended up doing was continuing to accuse me and continuing to like follow me around and check my phone and making my life a living hell, because in her mind, this is what was going to happen, this is what I was going to do, and you know, you were going to head me off. And that was the intuition said, you know what, I'm going to lose you, and one way or the other you did. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point you made my life such a living hell that it was like, you know what, I need to step back. This is not what, you know what I'm saying? This is not what I want. And that became the self-fulfilling prophecy. I had no plans to go anywhere until, you know, you took me down, and it's like, look, you're not even, this isn't somewhere I want to be. So.
Okay. Well, you guys tell us what you think.
Mary said, she said you took her back to church songs with the no weapon formed against me. And perception is usually 99%. And Dino is watching tonight. Dino?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Dino.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dino.
Hey, Dino. I don't know what Dino is, but
Mary's friend.
Hey, how are you?
Her special little friend.
Ooh, special friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We got special friends.
So you guys, tell us what you think about that. Definitely, those are all. That's what we like to collab about and hear. So tell us about the event and everything you went to, and you know, highlighting those people.
Okay. So I went to an event. It was called Fashion Diagnosis, and there were several different brands that were there. Posh Meek was the one brand. The brand, I got to shout her out, Morgan from Posh Meek. I think they call her Posh. She's the Posh from Posh Meek. But so that's one part of it. But she's the designer of a couture line of clothing. It's very wearable. She did New York Fashion Week and Tokyo and some other things. But she's completely a damn sweetheart up here. If she seems to be such a sweetheart. Very talented designer, and she actually put together her event at Flavio in Georgetown, and it was just like a really, really empowering time, because not only were they having the fashion show for Fashion Diagnosis, I guess the reason why they're calling it Diagnosis was because she also partnered with a friend of hers who actually was more so on the mental health awareness and literacy side, workout to community, who's the CEO of Community Care. So shout out to her as well, and shout out to Community Care.
Hey,
but there were some sponsors there. They had Monster, and there's a line of makeup called Inglot. Inglot is all over the place, you know, in 7 countries and all this, that, and the other. And the person that owns that, Jennifer Lopez, yes, is the brand ambassador for. I'm not sure why I can't talk to her. Just give me one moment, because my tongue is tied all the way up. Okay. Yeah, Jennifer Lopez is their brand ambassador But I was there. I was able to get a lot of interviews and talk to a lot of people. And the vibe that I got was just awesome. Like everybody there was, the people that I interviewed were connected in some way, or they happened upon the event. And Miss United States was there, and she's actually a therapist. And so she was actually talking about mental health awareness and the things she would do for to maintain her sanity and mental health and things like that. But it just brought me back to detox, because as you know, and I know, and as we've always talked about, how important mental health is. And a lot of times people aren't talking about it, and it's this taboo thing, and nobody wants to like mention, that they're dealing with depression or anxiety or, similar issues. And to be involved in an event where they were actually partnering fashion, and they were actually hiding, being beautiful on the outside, but feeling good on the inside, feeling good on the outside and the inside, and telling people that it's okay not to be okay. You know what I mean? Because I think we all go through that. So it's okay not to be okay. So I have to shout out Lydia Jefferson for inviting me to that event. It was really, really dope. And yeah, you guys got to check it out. I'm sure that there are pictures all over the place. I'll have some pictures up soon. But shout out to everybody who attended. DJ Beauty and the Beats. I keep on forgetting my girls. When I say beautiful people there, I do not mean just gorgeous people. I mean gorgeous people like on the inside, people that radiated like a really, really positive spirit and everything. And that to be in that environment was just dope. So y'all stay tuned for the pictures from that event. And I'll shout out everybody, and hopefully everybody we can connect and stuff like that and keep this whole positivity going. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the whole Lala Milan, her statement, if you guys have not seen that statement, it's on SipsTea the Show's page, where she actually talks about, getting rid of this whole crabs in a barrel situation, and why, and collaborating with each other, and why, even though there are so many of us doing the same thing, there is something that we can learn from each other to our betterment. And she was saying how there is space for everybody, but yet and still this society kind of pits us against each other, as if the stage is small when the stage is super huge. But that was dope, and I put it on SipsTea the Show page, one, because this is the first time in a long time I've seen something that was positive become, I don't even know if it's gone viral or how many likes or posts that they use to say something has gone viral, but I like the fact that this was something that did. Every time I looked on my timeline, it was showing up, this person, that person. So it was shared and shared and shared and shown mine. It went viral, and this is the first time in a long time I've seen something that's very positive, with a positive message, go viral. So I saw that Lala Milan's message was out there, and then I go to this event, which was a collaboration from a lot of different people brewing their thing, come together for the betterment of our whole community. And so that piggybacked off of that, and it was just awesome. So, yeah. So you want to move on to tea time, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So the next part of the show is tea time, where we talk about celebrity news, regular news, everyday news, politics, what's going on, what's happening this last week or so. So that's the part of the show where we definitely get into that. And then once again, just shout out to GemDTwin for just going out there and getting those interviews and meeting those different people, and just collaborating with them and everything like that. So I know that was a really, really, really good event for you to do. So tea time.
Okay.
What do you have for tea time?
Well, I think we talked about a lot of the tea time topics, because we kind of beat this show with a whole bunch of stuff going on. But I also wanted to talk about Gandhi showing up at the prison. And I don't get so into the celebrity situation, but I did think that it was worth mentioning, because a lot of people were saying she's at jail where her husband was. Well, she wasn't at the jail where her husband was. Actually, let me tell you guys what happened. if you've been watching social media and things like that, Yanzi from Love and Hip Hop, one of the seasons of, well, lots of the seasons of Love and Hip Hop.
Love and Hip Hop in New
She's
York.
Love and Hip Hop New York. She's married to Mendices, who actually went to jail.
Technically, she's not married.
Or whatever their situation is, she loved him. Okay, a little bit at least. She the baby mama too. So, but he's locked up. And recently there was, I'm not sure, I can't remember what state it was, that the prison,
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because they're in New York, right. Mm-hmm. There were reports that the inmates were not getting basic human rights, not being fed. It was, freezing.
The generator went out.
And the toilets weren't working. They weren't getting their visitation and phone calls and things like that. And the lights. And then I think she said that,
because when they had what happened when the freezing thing happened, it busted the generators and things like that. So they didn't take the time or the money to go and get it fixed. So they were saying that because they knew that it wasn't fixed and nothing was working, they closed out the visitation because they didn't want to cause publicity. But when she stopped hearing from him in DC for like a couple of days or something like that, she ended up going up to the prison. She drove out there. So that's kind of how she found out about it.
But that's not the prison that he's in.
I think he's there.
That's what specifically. I'm just gonna say. Let me just preface all this and say allegedly, but she said that isn't her. Her husband is her. Whatever he is to her is that she said explicitly she wanted to make sure that people knew that it was not the prison that he was at. That she was basically, but. My whole point is
she's out there.
She stood out there. She got pepper